Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my next Focus on video. My Little Pony Make Your Mark, Twilight's Message. This goes on my sort of subconscious list of things I didn't think they were gonna do, which in this case was bring back one of the original characters from Friendship is Magic. Yes and no in some ways, but this isn't exactly, you know, like bringing back Twilight as in like, oh, Twilight is actually here, but then again, by the ending of this message, it's like, maybe Twilight's still around. Or maybe not. So in this video, I want to focus on, like, what can we learn that we in some ways don't already know from Twilight's message, because a lot of this, I do have to say, is pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, as the audience, we pretty much know a lot of the stuff already. There's an evil pony out there. She wants to steal equestrian magic. It's like, we know this already, but of course, the main five do not. In fact, without this, the main five would not even know that anything is going on. And when Zip says like, oh, it's like, but every pony has magic, so why would any pony steal it? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, I can only think, poor naive Zip. She doesn't understand the supervillains, but she will. Oh. So anyway, getting back to actual Twilight's message, I mean, the beginning bit is, in some ways, more of just, oh, this is what's happening now, this is why this message has been activated. It's like, oh, magic has been more powerful than it's ever been, and Earth Pony magic has been activated for the first time in the history of Equestria. So good for you, ponies, good job! Roar! But now I have to tell you that there's evil pony out there that wants to steal it all, so... The most surprising bit about the second part is magic is alive, always changing, growing stronger. So, ooh, interesting. Make Your Mark has essentially commissioned itself to, in some ways, study magic itself and learn how does it work, and this is basically, in some ways, explaining a little bit about that. In this case, it's growing stronger. I mean, in some ways, it kind of makes sense, is that, yeah, as the ponies grow and evolve, so does the magic and stuff that they develop, so... an interesting thought. Yeah, there are evil forces out there who will want to exploit it, and a pony tried to steal all the magic and almost succeeded. Yeah, you've watched Friendship is Magic, you've seen that multiple times. When I heard that, it's like, which pony is she talking about? There could be several. The third bit of, I did all that I could to protect you from... by summoning all of my magical strength to achieve placing the magic in the crystals, and... but the spell is broken. You were exposed to the world once again. Huh? What do you mean by that? You must watch out for... oh, before she... oh, I am with you. What? Yeah, that whole bit is obviously warning the ponies about Opaline. We know it's Opaline. They don't know that yet. This is also explaining why the crystals were created to begin with and what happened to magic. And also about this spell about being exposed to the world again. So... interesting. I mean, maybe like the spell is broken because now that magic has grown so much, is that maybe that spell that they used to like shield Equestria, maybe magic is so powerful now that it actually broke it. Or maybe it was because the Unity crystals themselves were separated that broke the spell. So, interesting thought. That whole thing of that you were exposed to the world once again is like, what does that really mean? Do they mean like the world of Equestria as a whole? There were only a few cases where the ponies actually went outside of Equestria, so we don't really know what's like beyond like the world of Equestria. But after watching chapters 1 through 3, I'm pretty sure that's referring to mostly Opaline, that you're now basically exposed and vulnerable to Opaline now. She can see exactly where you are, so it's an interesting thought into itself is, why is the message malfunctioning? I'm sure there's probably a magical reason why, is that, oh, maybe it's just this message is simply degraded after all this time. I think from a writing standpoint, it makes sense. This kind of message is almost usually in riddles, and it's kind of almost countering. It's like, why did you put this in a riddle? Why don't you just tell me? Because that would be no fun. I want you to figure this out for yourself. I don't want to just tell you where to go and what to do. That would be boring. They want a sense of mystery of, oh, who is Opui? What does she want? What is she trying to do? But here, Twilight's clearly just trying to tell us what Opaline is and what she's trying to do, which would obviously be very helpful for our characters, because while I think Opaline is pretty formidable, against the whole of Equestria, I don't think that she would prevail. If Twilight says, oh, Opaline is right over there, go stop her, they're just gonna go over there and stop her, and it'd be a pretty short series. One thing I forgot to talk about was by summoning all of my magical strength to achieve placing the magic in the crystals and the blah 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 blah. My first thoughts are, there's a fourth crystal! Well, okay, maybe not another crystal, but there could be something else that maybe some of the magic has been placed in. My other thought is, what if this is and the cutie marks? It kind of would make sense is that if it's in the ponies, but it's sort of like a second level of magic, I guess, so that they can't immediately access to it. So it's sort of like hidden within them and will only be accessible at certain times, I guess, as we've seen with the main five, when they're really, you know, showing friendship and unity and stuff. So an interesting notion. But one way or another, it does appear that there's some other magical element to this, that there isn't just simply the crystals, that there's something else going on. So yeah, we're probably going to learn more about that in the future, but for now, interesting. You know, it's times like this I kind of miss doing the focus on videos the old-fashioned way using my OC, but oh well. So what do I think like the blanks are here? I think it's like, yeah, you must watch out for Opaline before she opens, perhaps? I think this full phrase is, you must watch out for Opaline before she opens the void. The void was introduced somewhat surprisingly and out of nowhere in chapter 1. The ponies have been divisive and outright fought with each other in the past, but it hasn't resulted in a void opening up in the middle of town. So this is something new. Something else is going on, and whatever that was, I don't think we're done with that. And it is possible that maybe Opaline is somehow connected to that. Maybe in like this moment of divisiveness and fighting, that she was somehow able to start to open this void. For what purpose? I'm not sure, to be honest. At this moment, we don't really know anything about this void, what it is, why it's there, why it opened, or maybe if there's anything else in there. There's no hard proof that Opaline has any connection to the void, but I feel like there could be a connection there, but we shall see. The very last line from Twilight is, I am with you. Whoa. That could mean so many different things, all the way up to Twilight is somehow still out there. But I honestly don't think so. Oh. With the exception of Luna, Celestia, and Discord, because they're all virtually immortal, that I think the cast of Friendship is Magic are all long gone. I don't think Twilight is still out there. For a big one, if she is, where is she? Because the ponies really could use her help right about now, even in just in like, here, this is how you do this particular spell, or oh, this is what magic could be used for. That goes on that list of things that, no, we're not going to bring back a character from Friendship is Magic, because that's connecting to Friendship is Magic a little bit too much. The other interesting thing about this message, and this is going to sound strange, is this is Twilight. Yes, it's Twilight, but this is Twilight. This is the Twilight that we knew her as in Friendship is Magic. This should really be her queen form, or perhaps her adult form, whatever you want to call it. It does appear that all of this stuff with the crystals happened sometime after the series finale, because this was basically the beginning of the separation of the three ponies, and at the series finale, all the ponies are together, magic is here, everything's good. So clearly that hasn't happened yet. So Twilight should really be in like her queen adult form, but I had an interesting notion. It's like, well, maybe draining all her magic, maybe that brought her back to like her, you know, Princess Twilight form. Maybe, but probably not really. Parts of me feel like this just simply could be, this is the form that we know Twilight as. It's also the form that was introduced in A New Generation. If you've never seen Friendship is Magic or not, especially the series finale, and you've only seen like A New Generation, you're gonna look at this queen form and be like, who's that? That's not Twilight Sparkle. It kind of looks like her, but it's not really. This message was overall pretty effective. Unfortunately for Twilight, it wasn't as effective as she wanted it to be, because she was pretty much trying to tell them, look, Opaline's out there, watch out for what she's trying to do, but because of the circumstances of the story, and because, hey, we don't want to tell you that right now, they basically, you know, in some ways glitched that out. But at the same time, did succeed in telling the main five enough information for them to know that, oh, there's a supervillain out there, you should really be wary of it and be careful about it. The main five, I think at this point, have not quite realized that they are now, in some ways, defenders of Equestria and the crystals, And this is kind of their reminder of, oh, you have to be more careful, that you have to watch out for bad ponies that want to do bad things. I think the main five really did need a reminder like this, because overall things are pretty good for them. All the ponies are friends again, magic's back, everything's great! But now they need this reminder from, in some ways, a very experienced pony that, yeah, there are really bad ponies out there that are gonna want to steal this magic that you've just gotten back. So you need to look out for that and be careful about that. And as we see later in the chapter, we see the ponies carrying around this magic lantern that contains magic energy directly from the crystals, and, carrying it around and just using it like it's a lantern, leaving it sitting unattended on a table and stuff. It's like, no, we really have to be more careful with these kinds of things, because there's ponies out there that will just simply take them, and that would be very bad if they did, so, ugh. Yeah, so overall, I think this message was definitely a shocker to everyone, including the main five. I had actually seen a picture or two of this on Twitter beforehand, but I was still surprised by it when it happened. But definitely moved the plot forward in a series that never has enough time. I think it was as informative as it could be without giving too much away, and definitely gives us all something to think about, and definitely gives the main five something to almost take pause and think about it, that, oh, there are bad ponies out there. We really need to be more careful with things like the lantern and watch out for these evil ponies, because they want to steal all our magic. No! At the same time, there may have been just a little bit of encouragement at the very end that, regardless of everything, I am with you. And of course, as we know, that the magic of friendship will prevail in the end. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and until next time, this is Blue Star. Stay strong, and pony on. Blue Star out.